But what that experience provided for me as a marker was a really clear experiential learning of the difference the thinking was making. And so I applied that at critical points of challenge in the recovery from that point on.
So that's pretty huge, because it took someone, and you had lots of people who had faith in you, and when you got to that point, it took that neuroconsultant to have total faith that you could do it, and he held the space for you, and your neurons made a leap in consciousness.
A quantum leap.
Quantum leap.
Yeah,
and you could suddenly do it. And that, to me, when you told me the story before, to me was where you'd already made the decision that you were doing step by step moving forward. But this, to me, signifies one of the reasons why you're so good with your ATR is because you know that you can do it now, and you're holding that place for other people.
Yeah, they can do it.
Yeah, they can do it because you know that, because somebody did that for you.
Yeah.
You know, and a whole team did it for you.
Yeah.
And it took your knowing inside too to be willing to take on their support.
Yeah.
And then he came in and you jumped to another level.
The magic ingredient was definitely that there was this other person willing to open a space where this transition, this transformation could take place.
Yes.
And
you felt safe. That was the magic, and you felt safe enough to be willing to
I never saw
try.
him again. That was the only time I saw that man.
So he was like a guardian angel
He
that just came in.
Through, does this ridiculous thing, that shouldn't
this
work, but
simple
clearly
thing.
does work.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So he knew, and he worked with you, and you trusted him.
Yeah.
And it took you to another level.
Definitely.
And what happened after that?
Beats me.
Beats you? Well, here's something I just want to say.
That's not much of a response, but my brain's gone empty. So.
Well, we've asked you a lot of questions here, and I think you're doing incredibly. What I'm impressed at is that you set up such a great business with your restaurant that it continued for another 7 years, without you.
Without me.
Without you.
Yeah.
So you
They
clearly
were happy.
they were happy, yes, without you. So that system worked so well that it ran itself, and you knew how to set that system up.
Yeah, it's good food, love, you know, and it disintegrated, yes, because it also requires a certain amount of inspiring vision.
Yes.
You know, and it was carrying on as long as it could, and by restaurant standards in cities, that's a long time.
That's astounding.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. So we know that you're really good at setting up systems in business. So at what point did you decide to start creating your ATR system?
Conversations that had been happening in friendship for decades with friends who are mediators, friends who were in high pressure global situations and making a difference. Those conversations that I've been having had been noted as impactful in their lives. And when I looked at what that impact was based on, from my standpoint, it was honest communication, and it was this space.
This space.
This space of being right here in the right place at the right time, and just providing a safe place for honest review and honest interaction in communication.
So, just to clarify, so you already had were already having these conversations before your accident, is that right?
And they had proven some effective results in areas that were not getting results.
So you already had this gift, and then when you had your accident, it seems like it just really accentuated and honed your gift to shift you from being a successful restaurant owner into a successful man that changes people's lives. Is that right?
Yes, I provide personal coaching to a few people whom are enjoying the benefits in their stressful lives. That's the way to put it. So, some of the situations that need handling in mediation and or negotiation and consulting are so complicated. We have a global situation in which cultures are mixing, religions are mixing, and it's all economics. We'll talk about complicated. So all I do is allow a person a space in which they can get a clear view of what they think, what they feel, not what the policies are dictating, not what the conditions are causing in them. Beyond all that, there is a personhood, and sometimes it's easy to lose track of what I feel, what I think in this situation. And that's the reference point, that's the compass for each of us to know that. And I provide a very quick way for people to access that knowing.
So you're really bringing the humanness back, you're bringing people back to their center so that they're able to make really wise decisions
For themselves
where they are in the decision as opposed to doing it because of a policy.
That's right. And knowing the difference, because sometimes it gets very complicated. And it's a blessing in a situation to have people who know the difference.
Yes, and because you were in a situation that was incredibly complicated, where the doctors, it was very, and it was all about your life, and the doctors really didn't have a precedent.
No.
They had no example of anyone that had made it with what happened to you.
That's right.
And you were able to hold that same space with support from your team, and you were able to move through it step by step by step, one step at a time.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing for people at a really high level.
The process is very simple. A lot of people won't even dream in their lives of ever approaching such a process because they don't have conditions in which it comes up as relevant. It really is people who are under a great amount of stress that come to those and handle it well. So they're already peak performer people. They're already delivering the top level of product in whatever field. It could be baking for all I care, but it's going to be a high stress situation that brings up that level of discernment, self-honesty, self-awareness that says, I can't quite get this. And you need somebody just to refer to, like that neuroconsultant.
Yes. Yes.
It's like a sounding board. And when you sound it, there's no translating happening. There's no investment. It's just this clear open space in which the resonant tone happens, and suddenly this is safe. I can trust this person. I can trust myself. What do I think?
Great. So Rodger, this is fantastic. You are truly an inspiration. And I'm wondering if there's anything you would like to say to our listeners before we close, that you want them to take away from your whole experience, your message.
The curiosities, the wonder of each moment is so intense that I marvel at anyone who could find boredom or miss the opportunity to have a full hour of amazing experience every hour. We have one life, and we may have one life that gets reincarnated 1,000 times, I don't know, but I know it comes down to a life-death moment, but you realize that you have one life. And in this moment of this life, which is the only life you have and I have, I really would like people to know they have the choice to enjoy the love, the trust, the knowing, the intuitive sense of direction that's available if they just choose to go in that direction.
MeridianHolisticHealth.com